Okay, well, thanks again. You've all been supplied, or provided with the financial report for October 2024. And if you have any questions, Fran can answer them, and if not, we'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I approve, I approve, as presented.
As presented, thank you so much. Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any other comments on the financial report? All right. Town managers report. Oh, I'm sorry.
You skipped over the minutes.
I did, yep. Need to go back up.
I move that they be accepted as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Apologize for that. I skipped right over that. Town managers report.
I have two things. I met last Friday at the high school. We were invited to their technology class was interested in taking a look at our website and possibly giving us some ideas about how we could change it, make it better. So the previous week, Matt Tanner had gone and met with them about some of the things we were looking for, things that needed to be required for a municipality and security and so forth. And so they had really only about 2.5 days to put some ideas together for us. And so I went last Friday to see their presentations. I was very impressed with what they did. There was about 6 or 7 kids who did a presentation, and they'll be sending me their links so I can share them with you at some point. So hopefully we can build a comprehensive website taking some of their ideas. But some of them were very out of the box thinking, and so I was real impressed with that. So we'll hopefully maybe get some great ideas for a more updated website for ourselves. And the other thing that I had was finally this week the new door went in.
Oh.
So we'll have the blinds are in there, so if we have a sunny time when we're meeting in here, we won't be blinded. So that's nice that that's done and completed. And the other thing is, I think you noticed whenever you've left the building, it was so dark out front. We have a new light that's been installed, so it's nice and bright, and it's on a timer, so it stays on through the night, and will go off in the morning. So getting some improvements done.
Good. Yeah, looks great. Very good. Okay, very good. Thank you. Old business. Trying to wrap up some of these long-standing projects in town. And Fran has been in contact with the paver, and so hopefully, weather permitting, we can get those trees taken out and the portion of the gravel at the new town parking lot paved, and continue those improvements. I don't have an update other than the last time I heard from Allrec was that early December, looking at the first week of December, to expand the playground at the park. And we are continuing to ping ARM on the continuation of the water system. We have that money, and still certainly behind where I had hoped it would be. I would certainly like to finish going down Route 3, and that would just leave the town basically 2 sections that need attention. And while both of them need attention, we're out of money, but I don't think either one of them are as critical as the other parts that will all be done. So, well done. If we can get that other part knocked out sooner rather than later, the town will be in good shape with water.
So with the park project, we've now expended all the ARPA funds that we needed to before the end of the year?
I believe that between that and the paving increase, the estimate we had for the parking lot and to pave the walkways and the little parking area over here jumped, I dare say, significantly from the time we had the estimate to now. So Fran and I have talked, and we will forego paving the small parking area over here. We'll press ahead with paving the parking lot, taking the trees out and paving the footpaths at the park. And then I believe, correct, that should take us down to right at the bottom of the
Good.
ARPA money. And if we need a little bit extra in there, we still have some of the public donations in that pot for additional improvements and things. But the main goal, as you well know, is to try to knock that down to 0. And I think we'll achieve that. Coming in right under the wire, but that's good. Somewhat under old business, I attended the Fall Festival wrap-up meeting last night, and I really went, well, because I care, but I also wanted to make sure that I thanked Barbara Jean and Alan. Rosemary was not there, but some of the other main players were there for their work in doing that. I think they're, unless they've turned it into you, Fran, they were preparing a kind of a wrap-up financial report. I think we might be a little in the hole, but I'll wait till they turn that in to give you the straight scoop. But I really did want to publicly thank them all for that. I thought it was a very nice event. You know, the group, I believe, will stay engaged and continue to help do that going forward. And you know, I hope that relationship with the town stays intact, and we can help any way we can, and still get it done and have a nice event.
Did it seem if the shortfall is from the shortage of donations or just costs overall?
It would be better to see what they produce for you, but my initial take was that there was a number of things, and one of those was the donations were not as high and as broad as they had been in the past. I think the music got a little bit more expensive. I think, as it turns out, someone had been paying some of the transportation and things out of their pocket, and the committee had said, we don't want you to do that. And so there were some things like that. I think the Kids Zone was a little slightly more expensive than it had been. And so when they produced that document, I mean, that's something that some of you may want to sit in on a follow-up meeting and see how we can fit that into a budget. I mean, I don't, my initial take on listening to the feedback last night was that, I mean, I believe it was a nice event. I was there. I think people had it. The question always is, was it as well attended as previous years? To me, it's really hard to say. In the morning, I felt like it may not be, but by parade time, I felt like it was every bit as well attended as it had been. And if memory serves me, I believe the parade used to be a little earlier and got moved back an hour or so in hopes to keep people in town longer. And I think therefore that a lot of people are now just waiting to come a little bit later. And so anyways, that's all. I just wanted to bring you up to date with that, and we're going to talk about it. But they also are working on the Christmas Spirit Festival. And as you know, the town is kind of linked into that through the fire department. They do the light bulbs on the Christmas tree and in memoriam for people. So that's progressing, and I would ask that when Barbara Jean has a schedule of events that we copy that and print that, and if we can help in distribution in any way, that would be good. I put a kind of a save the date up on the town Facebook page before I came down here tonight, just so we can get the word out. And I know it's pretty well branded to those of us that live here that it's the first Friday in December, but they are trying to kind of beef that up a little bit and get some singers and things like that. And I do believe that Santa will be there that night, which I believe is a change. It used to be Saturday. But, so. Okay. enough of that. December meeting, we're all in agreement that we're gonna meet on the 17th. And, wanna do our potluck? Yeah. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I don't know where Mr. Burl is, so we got chicken wings, but,
We typically have about three varieties at minimum.
right. And can I back up a little, just a second here, Fran? I wanted to give you an update on the election under new business. So congratulations to Catherine, Carolyn. You didn't run, but you were so popular, you got write-in votes, Clinton.
Oh, okay.
And Joey was the other one. I think, remembering back to the day when we held our own elections and it was a blowout if you had 9 votes. So, seeing 100 or so votes is refreshing that people are showing up at the polls and voting. Dave Smith, congratulations to Dave. He was elected. I thought he'd be here tonight, but so this is where we stand. We still have 1 vacant seat, and we're working through the process. There were 6 write-in candidates, and so the first write-in candidate with the most votes has politely opted to not, he didn't have the time to commit to it. The second most write-in votes with 2 votes has also opted to not take part. So it leaves us with and one of the remaining single votes is ineligible. I think we've gotten some clarity on that property that he lives on. And so that leaves 3 people tied with 1 vote each, and the voters register office is working through that process. We've simply, at least in my knowledge, we've never had this happen before, so we want to make sure that
Have any of those 3 declined?
Well, I know one of them, and that person is interested, but it's up to them to notify those candidates.
Gotcha.
I think it's the process. The way I understand it is if all 3 were to say, yes, I want that seat, then we might be looking at a special election, which would cost a little money and probably not in anyone's best interest in terms of that's the process. But I've only spoken to 1, and then when the registrar's office told me that they would follow through with the notifications, I didn't call anyone else. I called the first 2 candidates that had more votes, and then 1, and that person is interested, but so we'll let that process play out. That's where we're at. I believe that if no one wanted it, then you could nominate your own candidate in January and fill the seat that way. But again, working through that process, I want to make sure we do it right and above board and transparent. But that's where we stand. So let's talk about Christmas some more.
Well, I just wanted to mention about what I'm sure Fran showed it to you, what the code is for Virginia with regards to write-ins. And that is that you can vote for someone as a write-in, but they can't take a position because they didn't register as a write-in. Yes.
I'm not
Am
doubting.
I saying it right, Fran?
That's kind of how it's worded.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And we don't have anything in our bylaws, so at least that we could find. And I think that throws us back to state.
State code.
But again, that's up to the registrar. So, 'cause you can vote, it's kind of weird. You can vote for someone as a
Yeah.
write-in, but if they're not registered as a write-in, then they can't.
Yeah, I was a little myth that our code was so vague. Thank you for that. I didn't
Okay.
know that. I was focused on one of the candidates because I know them and I had always been told that they were ineligible, but anyways, we'll sort through that. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. And going back to the long-standing code, addressing the codes, we probably need to streamline that. I mean, I'm not opposed to a write-in candidate at all, but I do think that it should be something like, if you missed the cutoff for nominations and you were there interested, or you became interested, maybe a process that you could still register as a write-in candidate between the cutoff and the election time, or something like that. I find it very strange. I guess I'm relieved that Mickey Mouse or something wasn't written in there, that they're all viable town folks, but there's really no vetting involved in it. Some of them we vetted just because people know them, but
Well, there were 23 write-ins, and it came down to 13, so those other 10 might have been Mickey and Donald
it could be.
and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. Well, one year I was on that crew that finished up the machines. Remember, you pulled the lever and we had Alfred E. Newman as a write-in. So,
He was very intelligent.
yes, he was. He had a good smile. But anyway, that was just, the lady at the polls this year told me she'd had them from, like you said, Mickey Mouse and all that sort of thing.
That code, am I remembering it
I
right,
believe so.
is 26.4-644.
I have the code also for that defines, I had always been told it, but I couldn't find it in writing. A friend of mine found it and she sent me the link to the Virginia code. There's a number of people that property joins the town and a part of the property is in the town. And I had always been told that they were still not eligible, the domicile, where you lay your head. And they used verbiage like that, but I couldn't find that anywhere. And I was sent the link to it today and read it for myself. So that was something that was kind of sticking with me, why some people were actually given the town ballot, but probably not eligible for that, so. All right.
We do have several of those split properties,
Yeah.
That's what it is. But
Yeah, like Ralph and Linda.
that's right. Always do that.
Yeah,
So,
the driveway's in the town, but the house is in the county. It's weird. And you can't go about annexing stuff like that, but, I mean, you can, but
yeah.
people probably wouldn't want to.
No.
You don't want that house taxed in the town, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about how difficult it would be to adjust that so that you included some people that may be interested in serving on council, but I suspect that wouldn't be an easy road to travel. Christmas decoration judging. So it's really hard to believe we're even having this discussion.
Yes, isn't it? You're right.
So if we're meeting on the 17th, we probably need to decide, I think, like the 13th, 14th, somewhere around there probably.
To do the judging?
Yeah, the first question would be when to do the judging. I mean, we can decide that tonight, so it wouldn't really matter. You just have to agree on the awards, and then they can be published without coming in front of the meeting again. So,
Has a date been advertised for when they need to be decorated by?
No.
that's probably the first item. Well, I usually get my decorations up about the 24th.
We'll do it on both. Yeah, I'll be able to.
You might miss the cutoff.
So don't wait for me. No, in all seriousness, what's a fair time frame to,
Do we need to announce it by the next meeting, or can it be after? Or do we
The
just-
winners?
We just post it, yeah.
well, you don't need to, I mean, you can announce the winners at any time. They can be put in the newspaper, on social media and
Yeah.
whatnot. I mean, deciding what night the judging would take place should happen now. And then if you're gonna continue on with cash awards, just
Yeah.
determine that now. Thinking about that, right? And then, so the date's up there and can be published. And then whomever hosts the judging just reports into Fran. We don't
So no, we
need-
don't necessarily have to have them in for the next meeting then. Could be after,
Yeah.
if you want to do it as far as late as the 24th. That's probably still too late though.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, well, the 17th, I mean, I would think that that's your next meeting date,
Yeah.
our next meeting date.
You would have it done by then.
You want to do it the week before? Is that too early, or?
When are businesses being judged?
It's all the same,
Yes, but only prizes are for residential.
it's commercial and residential on the same night typically,
Yeah.
and then we just do the cash awards for residential winners.
So how about Friday the 20th of that week?
And that's after the fact.
Yes. It's after your meeting. But we already would have determined what the prizes would be and those details. As far as giving people time to put everything up. Just a suggestion.
Let me see what anybody remember what we did last year?
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think last year we had judged enough time to announce it at the last meeting, but if we wanted to buy more, get more time for people to decorate, if we wanted to go as far later that week after the 17th, like 19th, 20th.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I was just looking to see if I had any record on my phone of when they,
Because typically a person wanting to, participating in reviewing the decorations would occur on a weekend, I'm
Mhm.
thinking. If you get someone who works.
who hosted it last year? Was that you, Aaron?
Yes.
Do you remember when you did that?
I don't remember the date of it, whenever the last the meeting would have been. So the meeting last year would have been on the 19th, December 19th. That sounds right. So I think the 15th is when we had the judging.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So then if that be the case, then we would be looking at around the 13th or 14th, if we did that.
Seems a bit early.
Yeah.
I don't know for some
yeah,
folks.
Like he said, yeah, it is.
Well, I think that your timeline is fine. I mean, well, does anybody jumping up to volunteer this year? And then the follow-on question would be, would your preference be to do it during the week or on a Friday night or Saturday night?
I'll do it,
Okay, excellent.
and I prefer during the week.
Okay, you want to pick a night in there? 16, 17, 18, 19,
19.
19?
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. And you know you can take your guests to dinner at some place in the town. We'll cover that. And how's the cash awards look to you all?
I think
Looks
it
good,
looks
yeah.
I think they look good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so we've decided we will do the judging on the 19th, and we'll get that date out and published, and then we will do a little roll call vote here for the cash awards. We'll maintain the 200, 150, and 100 for the top 3 residential winners. But if that sounds good to everybody, I'll entertain a motion to do the same thing, provide the cash awards to incentives, I should say.
So moved.
Okay?
There we go. Second?
Thank you. Mr. Green will do a roll call vote for the money here.
Aye.
Mr. Hooks?
Aye.
Ms. Whitman?
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
Aye.
Carolyn? Sorry.
Ms. Carlson?
I lost the, Ms. Carlson?
Ms. Carlson.
Aye.
All right. Okay, next bit is cash bonuses for Christmas. Fran and I had a discussion and thought it would be better maybe to discuss them now at the November meeting, show that they were done instead of, and they could be handed out at the Christmas potluck for our usual recipients of those. I think that makes good sense, and I appreciate Fran bringing that up. That way it's probably a little bit easier to talk about without somebody in the room that is looking at it. So, well, I'll leave the best for last. Ricky Landon has historically been on the list and at $125. Billy Sidner, $75. Dottie and Stanley at $75. Brian at $200, and town manager dropped last year. I don't remember what the rationale was that, but she had typically, that position typically received $325 bonus. Last year was $300. So it's wide open for recommendations here. I would suggest that we at least get the town manager back up to a historic level. And I don't.
If we add that extra 25, then it would bring the total up to 800. For the total, that sounds,
That rounds it out.
yeah, it rounds it out, yeah.
I have one other suggestion
All right.
or question for you. It's just my opinion that Stan and Dottie, I mean, they put up the lights and it's his truck, his fuel, and I mean, my goodness, where do you find such volunteers anymore? And lifting them up to $100, I think is at least a gesture of kindness and appreciation for what they do for the town. Best of my knowledge, they've never asked for gas money or anything, and I know when he was involved in the refurbishing of the lights and things like that too.
Sure was.
So I'll lay that on the table, and that kind of threw your math out.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
fine.
but what say you?
Sounds good. All of it.
Okay, is that a motion?
Sure. That is a motion.
Second.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for that. So you got all that down, Frank? Town manager, $350, water manager, $200, Stanley, $100, Dottie, $100, Billy, $75, and Ricky, $125.
He say 350.
What's that?
I'll get with you later.
Did I miss something yet?
Nope. I just wanted to clarify. Town manager,
I have $325.
okay, that's what I said, that's what I thought, but you said
But he said
something.
$350.
Oh, I apologize. Well, I mean, every bit worth it. I think we,
I should have written it down. It's on record.
motion and pass, yeah. Okay, so that's done. All right, we're moving right along here.
And that's a
You
roll
need-
call.
You need a roll call.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, roll call on the Christmas bonuses. Ms. Carlson,
Aye.
Mr. Watson,
Aye.
Ms. Whitman,
Aye.
Mr. Hooks,
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
All right. This is going swell.
Get you on by the 23rd.
Okay, council members' comments. Did we miss anything? Anybody have any questions, concerns?
Fran, have you made contact with the lady we interviewed, or did any more contact about the new position?
Oh, yes. Actually, she accepted, and she will begin December 2nd, so the week after next, Thanksgiving week.
Very good,
She accepted and is very excited.
very good.
What was her name again?
Christy Crabb, Crabbe.
Well, she'll already be on board, but please extend an invitation to the potluck so we could all welcome her
Yes.
formally if we don't do it before that.
Yes.
Great. Public comments? Nope.
Just as a thought, the Lurtons made out real good during the fall festival. They had your booth in front of the drugstore, and one other thing, I don't know what that was. It turned out good. They raised money and that sort of thing, which was a good, and they were plenty busy. So
Yeah.
just a plug for the festival.
Yeah, I still really would, I'd like this body to recognize them in some way. We can wait for that hot wash up with the financials, and then, I don't know, I'm open for suggestions, but, I mean, particularly, they all put in a lot of work, but, you know, Barbara Jean, Alan, and Rosemary, you know, it's a lot of coordination, and it's, I'm just grateful that they have stepped up and taken that on board.
Is it the Roritan or the Rotary that
We were Lurtons at
needs to find an organization to take care of the flags?
I'll touch on that. That's good. I forgot to bring that up. It kind of, the Ruritan Club, Westmoreland Ruritan Club, well, I was a member throughout a number of years, but I first joined them 31 years ago, and that was a program that they had in place, and it was a nice program, and then it's had its ups and downs over the years, and John Harvey Jenkins really breathed new life into the program and developed the additional pennant that people could purchase and hang on them, and it grew to about 80 contracts throughout the town.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, and but it really looks nice. I mean, if you're
very good.
someone like Mia Sapp for the flag, I love it. And the Ruritan Club came, and I think they talked to a number of people, but I was one of them, and they were really visibly upset, just saying that the club is kind of aging out, and volunteers' health not able to keep it up, and so they were contemplating just asking businesses to take the flag that had been posted outside and to continue to do it themselves. And I asked for an opportunity to help with that and kind of cast it out. And so the Greater Montross Partnership for Revitalization First Friday Committee stepped up. There's a lot of people, Butch Fikowski, Scott Petrie. I don't want to slight by forgetting anyone, but those guys should. So they're going to use the same pool of volunteers that they have to sell tickets and help with First Friday, and Election Day was the first time they did it. So I do believe the Ruritans are going to keep the flags down Fax's farm there as so they can continue to fund a scholarship, and the rest of the contracts will be managed by that committee. I'm glad the program goes on. I have every confidence that that group of people will use that money. If you remember, it was initial seed money that came from those events for the park, and so the whole goal behind that group was to reinvest in the town and be an advisory group to the town on certain issues. And so I had suggested they might look at their own scholarship with something that we hadn't done and got there, but something that would kind of utilize that money for putting up the flags for one of its historical intents. So, thank you for bringing that up. I kind of forgot about that, but I was glad to see him go up on Election Day.
Yeah, it's always good. I love it.
So are they gonna come up with a contract?
Yes.
Okay.
It's my understanding that Kathy turned over the contract and the list and everything to those key players. I think it's Butch and Scott. There might be other ones, I don't know, but, and they were going to reword it so that it would have to, the payment would be to them, and it's my understanding they will keep the program the same. Whoever has the pennant will still put the pennant on it. But yes, so.
Good.
And it's right about this, well, I think we're probably a month late. They usually do the contracts in October, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know what the status is, but it's my understanding that that would go to them then and then go into the pot for the Main Street group. I don't know if they would set up a separate account for it. I don't really see the need for that, but that'll be up to them. What, and you, Reese?
Well, it worked out really well.
It did, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good to see a group of people. It saddens me that I think we're a little bit in an era where some of the historic community groups, I'm a huge fan of the Ruritan Club, but it's just, all of these clubs are having trouble keeping members.
Well, you know, they ain't like the American Legion, same deal, so, yeah. You can't be 20 forever.
Yeah,
Well, maybe somebody.
well, there's so many of them. I don't, Lions, Rotary,
Yeah.
all of those clubs. All right, if there's nothing else?
One more thing.
Yes, sir.
First Friday, our church and I think a couple on our road are gonna try to have something at the Christmas thing, the lighting.
Oh, good.
And it'll be about what we did before. We got rained out last time, I think, but
Yeah.
we had cookies and, punch or something like that, so.
I know they're looking at that, I'm not directly involved, but it was a subject at the meeting last night, and they had mentioned a number of churches were interested. Well, typically there's a big pot of Brunswick stew. I think Brian seeds that, and some of the other
Danny
guys,
Riley was the.
Danny and them kind of make that happen. And I know a number of businesses still will do whatever. Historically, we have the kids in the Christmas pageant, or the music pageant. And I hope other businesses step up, and the banks and things do what they've always done.
Would do good.
The museum's gonna be open that night.
Oh, good, okay.
Not the museum store.
Extension.
Yeah, the store will be open.
I asked, they had mentioned Santa was coming that night, and I asked them if they needed to talk to somebody about using the vestibule for the old courthouse where Santa was on Saturdays for a couple of years running, and they said no, they were gonna set up a tent and a photo booth or something, so whatever they decide is fine. I think that vestibule is pretty nice, but they are looking at more music out there, so see. Fran, anything?
No, but when Catherine mentioned the museum, the store, if you've not been there, you need to do some Christmas shopping there. It's a phenomenal store with really cool, unique items. So, yeah,
And we
so
got a lot of Christmas stuff coming, hopefully it'll be here the next week
that's awesome.
to be put up on the shelves.
Yeah.
Be good.